Welcome everyone who just got in. We're just gonna give it another minute or two here. Let some more people join in. Got in. We're just gonna give another minute or two here. Some more people join in. All right, well, let's get going here. Welcome. Thank you for joining us for our Squad 8 parent meeting. Should probably about maybe 25-30 minutes to get through everything tonight. We're just going to go over just some little bit about the group and the goals for the group. Go over our event schedule a little bit to let you know what's coming up. We'll go over some website stuff and go over a little bit of the calendar stuff with you as well tonight. And then after that, if there's any questions, you can feel free to type something in and we can see if we can answer anything else for you. So we're going to start off. You should be looking at the website here. Just going to talk a little bit about Squad 8. So Squad 8 is sort of the top of our developmental programming. It's sort of almost a transitional group taking you from the mini meets, which you will be doing mainly this year, and getting the kids ready to start integrating into the more regional meets around the island and mainly around the North Island type with the other clubs from between Duncan and Campbell River. So skill development, that's sort of where we're getting to. We're working on making sure stroke development is leading towards proper the technique. They know the rules. They can execute all the strokes legally. Experiencing different types of distances. Starting to get into simple sets. Reading the pace clock. And executing the strokes properly within practice. So just sort of taking everything up into from Squad 9 and Mini Sharks with just sort of teaching. And now the expectation on them is to be applying those skills consistently in practice and then performing them in the swim meets. So that's basically it. It's still twice a week. Nothing too much changes from there. An extra, a little bit longer sessions. And then there'll be a little bit more swimming and swimming actually training sets will be introduced this year. So we're going to move in and we're just going to go over the event schedule a little bit. So I'm just going to switch up to on the website. If you click on meets and events, you'll see a number of things that have populated our event area on the website. And in the blue, dark blue bold, you'll see the events and what groups they're applicable for. So for the fall, for the Squad 8s, our first event for you guys is our mini meet on Tuesday, October 22nd. So you'll be getting an email about that this week. The sign up we'll start opening for that this week. And we'll go over that a little bit more if you haven't done that before, but I think we're almost all returning people here, so we shouldn't have to spend too much time on that. So Tuesday afternoon will be a mini meet. The mini meets again are for regardless of when you train. All the 7, 8s, and 9s will be invited to that. And there'll be no regularly scheduled practices that night for those groups. And then in November, the squad 7s will be moving on to regional meets. And we'll be bringing in the mini sharks. Will be the 8s, 9s, and mini sharks in November, and that will be a Wednesday in November on the 20 or on the 13th. And then in December, we have another one on a Wednesday on December 11th, again for the 8s, 9s, and mini sharks. And then to finish up the cycle on the following week on the Tuesday night, we're going to do our red and blue Christmas event. So that will be the whole team getting together and having some fun. We do some cheers, do some relays, have some prizes for the kids. So that will be on Tuesday night, the 17th. And then we finish up that week and we break for Christmas, coming back on the first Saturday or the first Monday of January when school gets back in. So beyond that, our schedule don't have meets or dates confirmed yet, but this is sort of where the squad 8 start to diverge a little bit from the squad 9s. So you'll still have the mini meets on the schedule in January, February, and March. Over that corner, there may be some swimmers who are starting to get invited to, and it'll sort of be on a swimmer by swimmer basis based off of mini meet results and coaches' recommendations, invited to maybe some of the local regional meets over the winter. Probably not much, but sometimes there's a few kids that need that extra challenge that we feel have done everything they need to do in the mini meets. But the vast majority will stick with the mini meets through to spring break. And then coming off of spring break, we'll have our swimathon in April. So most of you all took part of that last year. So just sort of a team event, combination team event and fundraiser. We'll get to the fundraising part later, but mainly just a chance for the kids to sort of show off to their parents to sort of how they've progressed over the year and challenge themselves to see how far they could swim in a session. And then in May will be for our squad 8s, their first big event of their careers probably. And that's where we bring all of our squad 8s and they join in with all of our 12 and unders and 12 and unders from around the island who come up to visit us in May. And we have our 12 and under jamboree. So it's a big production that we put on. It's one of for most swimmers on the island, it's their first introduction to regional level swim meets. And so usually there'll be a couple hundred kids from around the island coming up to experience their first meet and joining us as we go through that. So that will be the first sort of big deal for the squad 8s. They'll all be invited to that. And it's sort of almost sort of a year ending type thing for them. And then in June, it just sort of we'll have another mini meet for the kids. At that point, there may be some squad 8s again who are invited to other meets. And those are sort of a case-by-case basis that you'll be notified about. But again, majority we'll have just a year-end in-house meet in June, and we'll have our end-of-year barbecue out at Air Force Beach in June as well. And probably somewhere in there, we'll have another red and blue meet in May or June as well to finish up the year. So that's sort of where we're at now. Dates for these winter and spring events should be, hopefully they'll be up this fall before we break for Christmas. All those will be confirmed and on the website. So that's the basis of our events for the squad 8s this year. I'm just going to go back to the website. I'm just going to go through a couple things quickly here. I think most of you are familiar with it. So for signing up on this page, you'll get a link. So for the mini meet, you'll get an email with a link. You're going to click on the link. It'll take you to this area like this. Your swimmer will be on here. You can click accept or decline. We do ask if you're going or not to let us know one way or the other. So if you can't go, hit decline. If you can go, hit accept. If there's any notes, maybe you have to come late or leave early or anything like that, you could let us know in the declaration notes. Click on that and what your status of your child will be listed there. And then for volunteering, which we'll go over as well, is in this area, and you just click on if you're coming to the event and you can help out, click on here, how many people you have, type in your name and sign up for helping out at the event. Another area just to remind you, clicking on your email on the top right, then clicking on my account takes you to all of your account information. So my profile, if there's any contact information that needs to be changed, you can do it here. If you want to add another email address to the contact, you could add it there. Payment methods, if you have any credit card issues, expiration or a new credit card, you can add that in yourself. We also do accept bank debit cards this year, so you can add in a debit card if you want to go that route. Fundraising, so this gets updated 3 or 4 times a year. So any fundraising you do through the year will be tracked in this area, so you can check to make sure everything's been accounted for there. Same with job credits, gets updated. You can check to make sure that looks correct. And all your duties you've helped out with are accounted for. The billing section will show a line item of your invoices. So when you get your email for when you've paid your bills, it just gives you the total. If you want to see the breakdown, the line item breakdown, you just click here, click on the invoice, and it will give you a line item breakdown of what your invoice was. That's mostly here. At the bottom here, it'll list your swimmers. Now that you've probably had a year or two under the club, if you go click on the results for your swimmer, you'll see this has started to be populated by a bunch of times. All their times they've done at mini meets or anything else will be tracked in here, and the kids can look in, sort of graphs all their swims. You can pick an event, and it'll tell you how you've progressed over the years with the club. So if you haven't looked at that, as your kid starts getting more and more times, it's sort of a neat little area for them to look at. Next area we're going to look at here is our calendar. So as you've got a few emails this year, we're trying to keep our calendars, keep you notified and up to date through Google Calendars. We're just in a little bit, we're trying to sort of do a little both right now this year, but we're hoping to progress where most of scheduling information will just be relayed to you through your calendar account. So if you go into program info and chart calendars, if you haven't yet, you'll go here. You could find your squad. If you don't know if you're squad A, B, C, or D, if you go into the 24-25 schedule, go to squad 8, you'll find which one ever is appropriate to you. So if you're 4:30 to 5:30 on Wednesday and Friday, you're group D. Go back to the calendars and click on subscribe to this calendar and add it in. If you don't use Google Calendar, if you do use calendar programs, not this one, we can get you the ICS link to the calendar, so it can be downloaded to any calendar as a subscription. So one thing we do ask, so at our end, we're set up so if there's any changes or cancellations or additions, so if new events get added to your calendar, that will send out an email notification. So that will come from our end, but for you to receive it, you also have to have that set to accept them from your end. So if you go to your calendar settings, so I go to Squad 8C settings, and I go down to other notifications, you'll see I have new events. At least on my computer, it's defaulted to none. So I could change that to an email notification, any change of events, email notification, any canceled events, email notification. So if you'd like to receive those notifications, if anything comes up, you can just go into your settings, change those that you do want to receive email notifications. And like I said, if something is added to your calendar or changes on your calendar, you will get, there shouldn't be a ton of stuff for Squad 8s, but if you do want to have that occasional notification, make sure you do it on your end as well. So that's our calendar. And like I said, if you use Outlook or some other calendar on your phone or computer, we can get you the ICS file is compatible to anything. That's not what I want. So next thing we'll go over tonight is not fundraising, parent participation. So for the Squad 8s, not a whole lot of expectations or commitments we need from the parents yet, but you guys are now the veteran developmental parents in the club. Most of you have now been through a year, maybe 2 years of being to the mini meets. So the one big change for you guys versus the Squad 9's got this list. The one added for you guys is on the volunteering there is providing some parental leadership at mini meets. So if you guys get paired up with maybe a rookie, if you're helping out maybe at the computers or timing or marshalling or awards or whatever it might be, is just helping to get those new parents up to speed. It's like it's not a big learning curve, but using you guys who have maybe been through a few of already to just make sure they are comfortable and know what they're doing. So you guys are sort of our rocks at the mini meets this year. After I give them their 60-second spiel of what to do, hopefully you guys may be paired up with them and can take them the rest of the way. And then you guys going forward into the new year, again, we'll start to be introduced possibly to regional competitions. We have our big meet in May. It's we sort of go from the need for maybe 15 volunteers to the need for about 150 volunteers for that event. So there are more duties at that point. So there's a chance there for possibly trying something new out or taking your skills into a more official setting at our jamboree in May. So that will be probably the big step for you guys this year. There's not too much new going on, but hopefully getting all you guys out in May to introduce both your swimmers and you as parents to the regional competitions and what's involved and what happens at them. So that's the volunteering end of things. If I go back to the website on the parent information section, I didn't show you that. It has all of our policy stuff, but it does also go through our participation policy, which says 2023, but it hasn't changed. I'll just update that. We're going to go through fundraising right now. And our handbook, if you haven't looked at this, it's in the process of being updated, but there's lots of good information on that, including about clubs and swim meets and everything else you'd want to know. It's a fairly comprehensive handbook in there. So next thing might be our last thing is our fundraising. So exactly the same as last year. There's no changes in the amount, or there's a little bit of a change if you're new to Squad 8. What is it for you guys? So last year, if you're Squad 9, it was $80. So this year, moving up with the Squad 6, 7, and 8s, it's $120 per swimmer. So it's a little bit more fundraising commitment. So basically, the fundraising is used to help you guys to help reduce our fees. So instead of just increasing everyone's fees, whatever $80 or $120, we've put in the fundraising where you can hopefully find some value added goods. We try to make everything just stuff you would want anyway. And all you're doing is just getting hopefully a better deal or ability to offer it to friends and families as well. So it's all pretty safe. It's all none of it's mandatory. You can opt in as much as you want. If you do go above and beyond, we do have a credit program where excess fundraising can be applied to fees for next year. But on the most part, it's pick what you want, do as much as you want. And then if you choose not to fundraise, that amount will just be billed to your account at the end of the season. And no problem there. So the Panago is ongoing right now. We just did the Gunter's Meet. Both of those we run as much as we can. Both Panago and Gunter's limits us a little bit. We as the club's grown, we sort of exceeded what their demand of what they could give out. So they sort of tell us how much and when we can do fundraisers with them. So Panago sort of allocates us a number of coupons every couple months. Gunter's gives us once or twice a year where they say we can do an order with them. So the Panago is usually just ongoing. Gunter's, we just did one. Hopefully we'll do another one in the new year. The Comox Valley coupon books have proven to be really popular and super worthwhile. So we're about halfway through our inventory of those. So if those interest you, details of that is on the website. I'll show you that quickly after this. If you want more information about those. And then in November, we'll be putting out information on our poinsettia and Christmas flower sale. If you want to stock up on those. In the spring, we have our flower sale. And then we finish up with our swim-a-thon. So that's our fundraising. I'm going to go back to the website. Clicking on the Pro Shop. So team gear will be updated a little bit. We just did some sales of track pants and track tops, track jackets. So I'm just going to do an inventory of that, and those will go up on the Pro Shop and anything else that we have currently in inventory. The coupon books can be ordered through here. So you just click on the coupon book link. If you want those, you're just going to go here, tell us how many you want, and go through the process there. If you click on this here, it sort of tells you all the items that is in the book for you. So that's where that's at. The Panagos are ordered through Heather directly. You should have emails from her, so she prefers just you email her with the numbers you want for the Panago coupons. And the Gunters and the flowers and the poinsettias usually have sort of an online form you fill out for those orders. All right. I think that is all I have for you guys tonight. There's any questions, feel free to type them in. And if you're good, you're free to go. If you have any questions, I'll stick around and answer any questions. But thank you very much for popping in tonight.
Thanks, Tyler.